All right, let's jump right in. Imagine being tasked with building a portable temple, a dwelling place for the divine.
Whoa.
That sounds pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what the Israelites face after escaping Egypt.
Wow.
It's all there in Exodus chapter 35, and today we're taking a deep dive into this ancient construction project. And trust me,
Okay.
there are some really fascinating lessons hidden within this story.
Oh, it's more than fascinating. It's unbelievable. We're talking about like a time when the Israelites had just escaped slavery. They
Right.
were wandering in the wilderness with like limited resources,
Oh,
and
wow.
yet they're asked to contribute valuable materials. We're
Right.
talking gold, silver, fine fabrics,
Wow.
even exotic animal skins.
It does sound a bit extravagant when you put it that way. You'd
Right.
think the priority would be basic survival, finding food and shelter.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's what makes this story so compelling. The Israelites weren't just building a shelter, they were creating a tangible representation of their covenant with God.
Wow.
This structure, the tabernacle, symbolized their devotion and the sacred purpose of their journey.
So it was about more than just practical needs. It was
Uh,
about creating something beautiful and meaningful, something that would inspire awe
yes.
and connect them to something larger than themselves.
Precisely. And the community's response is truly remarkable.
Really?
The text describes people willingly giving from their own possessions, even bringing their jewelry.
Wow.
It speaks volumes about their commitment to this project and their faith.
That's incredible. It makes you think about the power of collective effort,
Uh-huh.
how people come together to create something they believe in.
It really does, and it's not just about the material contributions.
Okay.
The text also highlights the importance of specialized skills.
Okay.
God specifically appoints Bezalel and Aholiab, two skilled artisans, to lead the construction.
It's like having divinely inspired architects and project managers. Yes.
So amidst all this building and excitement, is there also a message about balance?
Absolutely. In fact, right in the middle of this massive project, Moses reminds everyone about the Sabbath, the importance of rest.
Huh. Okay.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of pursuing our goals and building something extraordinary, we need to prioritize our well-being.
It's a powerful reminder that rest isn't just about physical rejuvenation.
Yeah.
It's about honoring something sacred, about creating space for reflection and connection.
Exactly.
Even amidst the busyness of building a magnificent temple, they were reminded to pause and reconnect with the divine.
Yes, and I think there's a beautiful lesson there for us today.
Okay.
In our fast-paced, achievement-oriented world, it's easy to get caught up in the doing, to push ourselves to the limit.
I know.
But the story of the tabernacle reminds us that rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's about stepping back and recognizing that we are more than just our productivity.
So it's not just about building, it's about balancing the building with rest and reflection. Yes.
What an interesting concept.
It is, and it really makes you think about how we approach our own building projects in life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What are we pouring our heart and soul into? And are we remembering to pause and recharge along the way?
Good questions.
Really makes you think. It does. And, going back to those materials used in the tabernacle, it's easy to see why some people might have questioned the extravagance. I mean, gold, silver, fine fabrics, all in the middle of the wilderness.
I can imagine some Israelites saying, hold on, Moses, maybe we should focus on finding water and building basic shelters first,
Yeah.
before we start decorating.
Exactly. But that's where the deeper symbolism comes in. The Israelites weren't simply building a shelter. They were creating a dwelling place for the divine, a physical manifestation of their relationship with God.
Oh, wow.
And that connection, that feeling of being in the presence of something greater than themselves, was considered more valuable than any practical concern.
So in a way, it was a statement of their faith, a way of saying, we trust that God will provide for our needs, and we're going to honor that relationship by creating something truly magnificent.
Precisely. And it's interesting to consider the specific symbolism of the materials. Gold, often associated with divinity and purity, was used to overlay the most sacred objects. Silver, representing reflection and illumination,
Okay.
was used for the structural elements. And the colorful fabrics and exotic animal skins added a layer of richness and beauty that spoke to the abundance of God's creation.
It sounds like they were really trying to create a multi-sensory experience, something that would engage all the senses and elevate the spirit.
Absolutely. They were creating a space that would transport them beyond the harsh realities of the wilderness and connect them to a realm of the sacred.
And isn't that something we still long for today? A sense of connection, a feeling of awe and wonder, a space where we can escape the everyday and connect to something larger than ourselves.
It is, and I think the story of the tabernacle offers some valuable insights into how we can create those kinds of spaces in our modern lives. It's not necessarily about building physical structures, but about finding ways to infuse our everyday lives with the sense of the sacred.
So how can we do that? How can we build those tabernacles in our modern world?
Well, I think it starts with identifying what we truly value, what gives us a sense of meaning and purpose. What are those things that inspire awe and wonder in our lives?
It could be anything from spending time in nature to pursuing a creative passion to simply connecting with loved ones in a meaningful way.
Exactly. And then it's about finding ways to weave those things into the fabric of our lives to make them a priority. Just as the Israelites dedicated time, resources, and skill to building the tabernacle, we can dedicate ourselves to cultivating those things that nourish our souls and connect us to something beyond ourselves.
And that might mean making some sacrifices, just like the Israelites did. It might mean saying no to certain things so we can say yes to those things that truly matter.
It might. But remember, it's not about deprivation or self-denial. It's about aligning our actions with our values, about investing in those things that bring us joy, purpose, and a sense of connection to something larger than ourselves.
And just like the Israelites were reminded to rest, even in the midst of this incredible building project, we also need to find that balance between striving and stillness, between pursuing our passions and taking time to simply be present and appreciate the beauty around us.
That's right. Rest is not a reward for hard work. It's an essential part of the creative process. It's in those moments of stillness and reflection that we often gain clarity, inspiration, and a renewed sense of purpose.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into Exodus 35, what's the key takeaway you want our listener to ponder?
I'd say it's this. Don't underestimate the power of building something sacred in your life. It doesn't have to be a grand or elaborate project. It could be as simple as creating a cozy corner in your home where you can read and reflect, or dedicating a certain time each day to connect with nature, or pursue a creative hobby. It's about making a conscious effort to cultivate those things that nourish your soul and connect you to a sense of wonder and meaning.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Exodus 35. We've been exploring the story of the Israelites building the tabernacle, and, I'm struck by how this ancient story still holds so much relevance for us today.
It really does, and one of the things that stands out to me in this chapter is the emphasis on community and collective effort. You have the skilled artisans, Bezalel and Oholiab, leading the way.
Right.
But then you have everyone else contributing in whatever way they can, donating materials, weaving fabrics, offering their time and skills.
It's like a giant tapestry being woven together, each thread representing an individual contribution, all coming together to create something beautiful and meaningful.
That's a great analogy, and it highlights the fact that every contribution, no matter how small, is valuable and essential to the overall success of the project. It reminds me of that African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
I love that, and it's so true. We often think of great achievements as being the result of individual brilliance, but so much of what we accomplish in life depends on collaboration and support from others.
Absolutely. And the tabernacle story is a beautiful illustration of that principle. It's a reminder that we all have something to offer, whether it's a special skill, a unique perspective, or simply a willingness to lend a helping hand.
It's about shifting our focus from what can I get to what can I give, and recognizing that when we contribute to something larger than ourselves, we not only benefit the community, but we also enrich our own lives in profound ways.
Exactly. It gives us a sense of purpose, of belonging, of being part of something bigger than ourselves, and that's something we all crave, isn't it?
It is. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Exodus 35, what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from this ancient story?
I'd say it's this. Look for opportunities to build your own tabernacles in the world's spaces, communities, projects, or even inner sanctuaries that foster a sense of meaning, connection, and the sacred. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Invite others to join you in this journey of creation and collaboration.
What a beautiful thought to end on. Thanks for guiding us through this deep dive into Exodus 35. It's amazing how an ancient story about building a portable temple can still offer so much wisdom and inspiration for our lives today.